Really good. And you?
Also good. How do you feel? You feel stressed?
Yes.
Or are you excited?
I'm stressed, but I will try to handle it.
Of course you will. It's going to be fun. Don't worry. Okay,
Usually these
so
kind of tests make me anxious because there is someone watching every single step you do, and it makes me nervous.
but it's not a test. It's
Okay.
a pair programming interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
We're here to help you and guide you. No judgment on that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very, very much a case of kind of, we just want to see how you work, kind of what you work with. It's not so much about getting to the right solution at the end. It's more just kind of about the approach. And as Rita says, it's a pair programming exercise. At Codurance, we tend to do a ton of pair programming on a day-to-day basis ourselves. So it's it's a very normal kind of process, really.
Yeah, and it's good to see beforehand how your day would be here. So it's good. It's also good for you to see, like James said, this is what we do normally. So it's good to see how you would interact.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm presenting myself. I'm Rita. I've been here at Codurance for 3 years. I started here working in Java, but lately I've been working with .NET. And I'm Portuguese, so you can speak Brazilian. Sí. And I don't know what else to say. Nothing much more important. James?
Yeah, I'm James. I think I've been here 2.5 years now, something like that, I think. I've worked on quite a bit since I've been here. Most recently, I'm working at Epic Games, mainly in TypeScript at the moment, which is interesting.
Epic Games, I know that. I use their service because I play a lot.
I mean, if you're happy, you can just kind of give us a kind of brief introduction to yourselves, and then we can kind of press on with the task, really.
Okay. So right now I'm here in Brazil. I'm 34 years old. I have 8 years of experience in Java development, mostly in using Java itself as a language, but also in the last 2 years I have also used Kotlin a lot in the back end and also in Android applications. And yeah, that's a brief summary, but I can provide more information if you want to.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so I don't know how much they shared with you, but essentially what we would like you to do is we have a TDD kata. If you've ever done one of those before, just find it. So I'll send it over the one. So I think I'm going to do the Mars rover exercise. So essentially, if you're happy to sort of share your screen, read through it, feel free to ask any questions, and then just dive into it however you like.
I have done the bank kata. I have practiced a lot with it. It's possible for us to use it, or it needs to be the Mars overall. Because I have already done the bank one, and I'm recently I have done entirely, and I think I'm going to be a better candidate if I do it. But if necessary, I can do the Mars one.
Remember, we want to see how you think, how you start, how do you approach a problem. If you do a kata that, I mean, if you had done the Mars rover, we wouldn't change it either. So the idea is to see how you approach, how you communicate with us. So
yeah, it's often counterproductive to do one that you've done before.
Unless you've done it a long time ago, because you probably do it differently this time.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's not so much about having the best solution. It's not about having the kind of ideal solution. It's more just kind of about seeing how you work and how you approach a problem, really.
Okay, so let's do it.
One thing, we'll do about an hour for this. Like James mentioned before, you'll need to reach the final solution, but we'll spend an hour working on this, refactoring if you want, improve your existing solution. We don't have to be adding things all the time. And then we'll leave 20 minutes for you to tell us a bit about your projects, for you to ask questions if you have questions for us, and that's that.
Okay. Yeah, the Mars kata, I didn't did it yet, so it's going to be a good project for...
It'll take some time to read it, because this is the Mars rover, right, James? I'm thinking there's the simple Mars rover.
Yeah.
Let me see.
It's so pretty much the same on the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have opened my TDD here, and I'm gonna read the kata right now to understand what's the requirements. And when I have a assumption about what's need to be done, I'm going to start with the test here. So just a moment for me to read it.
Can you? Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start with this suggestion here.
Okay.
Mar I'm gonna increase the zoom of the
Yeah,
ID.
thanks.
It's going to be better for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna include some dependencies here. I'm planning to use just JUnit 5.
Mhm.
Later on, possibly I can use Mockito as well. But for now, I think just the JUnit extension is going to be okay. Let me see if IntelliJ can suggest it. Yeah, there's.
See.
I'm gonna use the JUnit 5 because it's the most recent version and most projects use it nowadays. But the difference between 5 and 4 is not it's not a big deal. Just before it turns into before each, for example, there is no need for it to be public. You can just use a void and so on.
Oh, that's good. Mhm.
Void, let me think about the name of the first thing that I need to check. It's first simple thing. Yeah, for example, the grid, it should have a specific size. Let me check it again. Yeah, here. I think I can start by making sure it has the specified size.
Yeah.
We don't have a grid yet, but you can create a new one here.
I miss this in C#. Can create classes and different files. You just use the IDE and it creates everything. In
Yeah.
C# it just creates at the end of the document. It goes and creates the class there. It's like, okay.
And then you have to move it to a new class, and then you have to move it to a new file.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they have some advantage, but also some disadvantages as well. The C# guys.
Yeah. There's always some.
Always a trade-off. There is always a trade-off. There's no escape. Okay, let me see again. So I'm creating a grid here. We have the class created for us. It has let's say just a X and Y coordinate for the grid because it's a 10 per 10. For now, I'm going to use just a string. I'm not sure if I will need to change it later on. If necessary, we can do that. Let me see. I will also, just to honor TDD, I'm not going to create the constructor yet. I'm just make it run and see if the compiler is happy, and it will be. So it passed. Now we need to make a chain that because it's doing almost nothing, but we need to make the tests do an assertion. I think I can go ahead and define the assertion right now. because I already know that it needs to be 10 per 10. I will use assert J. Let me see if I can import it. Yeah, usually I use assert J because I think it's better, but for now I'm going to use the assertions inside JUnit itself, just for the sake of simplicity. So assert that. Yeah, assert that doesn't exist anymore. Assertions from Jupyter. Let me think. Assert equals. Assert equals. Let me check the. I will provide the expected grid size here as an int. Expected y grid size. And expected x grid size. I will do 2 assertions. Here I have the expected. Can I copy and paste?
Of course.
Okay.
We do it often. Who doesn't?
Yeah, there is some code challenge that we can't copy and paste. It's madness. Assert equals. Forgot the syntax from the Jupyter assertions. Assert. I'm used to use assert that dot is equal to and the size.
I can use this one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to get the dependency aside the phone XML here. Just a moment.
Okay.
It's good. Yeah, it's here. Assert J.
Okay.
I'll create a static import just to be better to read. Is equal to 10 as well. Yeah, the assertion is in place, but the actual thing's not going to be tested yet. I will use the range act assert template. It's a good template. So the arrange is here, but the act is not done yet.
I'm curious to see what this act will be.
Yeah, I will run it, but it's going to be green, but the act itself is not going to be done. Yeah, usually I will put in place the act because we know if it's going to be green, but nothing is really being done here. I need to create a constructor here. Yeah, it's going to be green from, green. I need to create the constructor for the grid. So here I put Método.
One thing I'm thinking is that this is the Mars rover test, and we're testing the grid now. So maybe we can assume, well, this is how I would approach it, okay? So that the grid by default is 10 by 10. So we don't really need a constructor, or I wouldn't use a constructor to say, okay, whenever I create a new grid, if I try to read its attributes, X and Y, it's 10 without using a constructor. I'm not sure if I'm making myself clear, but still, this is not testing the Mars rover, right?
Yeah, only the grid
We're
itself.
testing the grid, exactly.
Yeah, one way without the constructor. Yeah, we can put the business logic inside the constructor in this case, because if it's always going to be 10 per 10, so the constructor itself can validate that, and we can make it accept only the initialize only with the number 10. But you said without the constructor, so let me think. Yeah, grid. Let me create the getters and setters. It also yeah. I will only create the getter for now. I'm trying to make it immutable. Nowadays we can use a record for that, so I could change it for a record, and it's already here. The grid dimensions, X and Y, but it's not, yeah, and we can do it like that. It's using a constructor in the background.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking about not using a constructor, but usually I would create one.
I didn't explain myself. I'm thinking the grid as a size, okay, but we don't want to test really the grid. What we want to test is the Mars rover. Where is it moving? So we're not really testing the size, or the size is not really what's important to us. What's important to us is the position, not the size. So
okay.
I would say the grid should have a size, which would be a limit, for instance, and we would check that the position does not go outside of those limits. But the size of the grid is really not important. What is important to us is the position. That's how we can test if the Mars rover is going right or wrong.
Okay. So let's do a check on. I will create a test now for that makes sure that the hover doesn't go out of the grid.
Okay, so this would be a way of testing the size of the grid indirectly, because we're saying, okay, the size is important for the movement of the Mars rover.
Yes. Yeah, indirectly we are going to check the grid size as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. For now, I'm going to let it be here, but I will create another one. Probably I'm going to delete that later on and focus on the new tests. Okay, let me check the specification if there's something about the hover itself. Okay. I'm thinking of creating the hover class, and it will have a method called movement that accepts the direction. So there is three possible directions that I'm seeing here. We can put them on an enum because they are constants, so we can reuse them. Yeah, but let's do baby steps. Let me think about the the single simplest step. Yeah, I'm gonna need to have a hover to check if it's going beyond the grid. So I will create a hover here. And it's also going to need to move. Movement direction. There is forward. Yeah, movement forward, left, and right. All movements, movement direction. For now, it's just going to be a string, but probably later on I'm gonna change it for a enum.
Okay.
Let's make it go forward. I put some comments here just to remind me.
Okay.
Have
I'm just wondering if it might be an idea, rather than kind of passing that direction in the constructor, if we made it fit that interface of okay, yeah, I see what's going. Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah. If we made it fit the kind of interface of having the Mars rover that takes in the grid and then the string execute, and then we've kind of got a kind of overarching test in kind of the right direction, I think. If that makes sense.
the let me think. Could you repeat the last part?
Yeah. So if you take a look at that interface that's in the brief, that has it's got a constructor that takes a grid, and then it's got a method on there called execute. If we make our kind of rover class that we've created here fit that interface, fit this class here, then I think we'll be in a good place to kind of write the test from there.
Okay, so let's create a mass hover. Mass hover test. Yeah, I didn't create that yet.
Yeah.
I was mute. You started by copying that. Yeah, that, and that is what you wanted to test.
The mass hover itself. And it also receives it also has an attribute execute, which receives a command.
Well, it's a method.
It's a method which receives the direction or the command itself. and this is the public constructor. Okay, let me create the mass over. Now that's it.
How do you come up with that constructor?
Yeah, the constructor is
Yeah.
correct. You get public.
Of course, this is just a suggestion. Maybe you have some other thought in your mind.
Yeah, it may happen, but right now I'm just trying to make things work as expected from the assertions. But later on, I can think of ways of improving that. Usually, it happens like that. I just do the implementation by guided by tests, and then I can see the big picture, and I can see where I can improve. In common.
Sounds wonderful.
Yes, usually it happens like that. At the beginning, I'm dumb, and at the end, I'm smart. Stream, yeah. For now, let's just do return. I will do as the video that I have watched. Argument, legal argument exception, for example.
Or not implemented.
Yeah, and a supported operation exception. Let's do it like that video. Yeah, for now, let's let it be it. So
that's good.
Yeah, I tend to try to make things faster, but I'm trying to not do that because I was willing to create the field here because we are going to pass it like that. So I was going to do it like this, like we do in Spring, for example, to inject the dependency. So this grid equals grid. I was just going to do that. But I will try to follow the guidelines and from TDD and not do it yet. I will try to make it pass with the minimal implementation possible. So here I need to inject the grid itself. That's over. It has a movement, comma, execute.
Now should be the act, right? So we're going to say Mars rover, we're going to execute this.
Yeah, correct. That's it. The insertion. Here. Now I have the grid. I have the Mars rover. Delete it for now. I'm going to use the Mars rover .execute. And the comment.
So yeah.
Yeah, so arrange. That's the direction.
Mhm.
Execute.
Okay, so we need to decide what happens after we move once forward.
After we move once forward, we need to change the position of the Mars rover in the grid.
Take a look at the description. I don't think we need to change the position. You take a look at that. We just return the string with where we are now.
Okay. The string of where we are now. Leave up, yeah, the cardinal places, for instance. Yeah, let me read it again.
I wouldn't worry too much about the obstacles part of this now. I would probably, focus on. So if it's starting at 0, 0, 0, and I think is it pointing north by default? Moving 1 is gonna return like 1, 0, and north. Just the very simplest kind of case, I think, is probably the way to go.
Yes. We create a assertion for that. So with that, I will create something to get the position.
So I think if we look at the execute, that should be returning the string anyway of the result.
The execute returns the position.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a string that goes back, it's the position itself. So we just need to check the return. Is true. Assuming that there is no obstacle, so it's going to be the letter is at the end, so it's facing north.
It's facing north. It moved 1 in Y and 0 in X, right? What is north? Y or X?
Yeah, I need to explain to make sure it's understandable, so we don't need to guess. This one is going to be X, Y, and the direction.
Okay, so if we're moving north, then we will be moving in the Y, not in the X.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, right.
Yeah.
X, Y, north. I'm going to put it here because I may
we
forget.
don't forget.
Yes. Okay, so after the execute movement, Mars rover dot execute that direction. I'm checking it here. Let me extract it. Yeah, for now, I'm not sure it's going to work yet, but we are going there. We are reaching the destination. Let's see what happens.
This is kind of the smallest thing we can do to start, because this actually, you see, it has a lot of things. It has direction, moving positions, all of that, but it's a small thing that will help us build the code.
Yeah, I'm trying to practice it like that. It's my first time solving this kata. I'm going to feel dumb a lot today because it's so simple, but when we are doing it for the first time,
Oh, it's not a simple one. I don't think this one is simple.
oh, good. Okay, so it throws the exception as expected. It's just a way of telling us we have executed, but there is no implementation yet. So I'm gonna think about the implementation of the execute method.
Let's go for the simplest thing. What would be the simplest thing to make this pass?
Okay, good. So we may do it like that. It feels strange, I confess. But let's check again. Yeah, it works. We are doing, I think the technical term is a dummy. Dummy method. Or is a fake? Yeah, it's a fake method. It's not a dummy because it's already providing.
Well, it's not a fake, it's returning what we want.
Yeah, but yeah, not in a dynamic way. So if we change things, it will break.
One thing before we move on to another test, let's review the name of the test, because it's not testing what we wanted at the first place. So
yeah, right. Let me check again. Find the grid, instantiating the object, setting a expected direction. Direction? No, it's not a direction. It's a action.
I think we called it command on the
on the briefing.
Right? It was command.
Yeah.
Let me check. Yeah, command. Movement, execute, command. Okay. I think it's a better name. What do you think?
Sounds good. It's rover with the R, not hover.
Oh, sorry.
The guys at NASA are saying, what?
Yeah, because I don't know why, but I used wrong letter here. I don't know if this word exists. I'm gonna check it. I'm that kind of guy who check words on
Hover, you can hover over something, like fly or...
Yeah, good to know. Okay. Yeah, something I usually do, it's just a detail, but I'm so used to do that. Display name generator. Replace underscores. Just to make it more beautiful.
Readable. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a good.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I don't like these underscores in Java because it's from Python and it bothers me.
Yeah, get on board with that one.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
We have the test. It should make a movement according to a command.
I guess for me, I'd probably if it were me doing this, I'd probably create another test that breaks this one.
Yeah, an unhappy path.
Yeah.
Remember, you can copy and paste.
Yeah, good. I will take advantage of that. Over. Okay, let me think about something. For example, if the position is starting from 0 and 0, and I try to go -1, for example, it's going to fall in the chasm, in the abyss. I think so. It's a good way of handling a situation where the hover tries to go to somewhere that doesn't exist.
And how would that command be?
For example, it can be left because I assume, let me try to show what I'm trying to tell. Let's assume we have a grid like that. And we have the hover exactly here. And we try to go left. So it's going to fall in the abyss, in the chat.
Okay.
I think the word is like that in English. Let me check. Yeah, exactly. So
How would you
go ahead.
How would you actually go left?
Let me see. How it, yeah, it can just do it. It's going to try to go left, and the
Remember, this is the direction. This is not moving. Remember that. You'd have to left and then move. No, but the left is okay. You have to turn and then move.
Yeah, I forgot that, because one movement is the turn to the direction we want it to. After that, go ahead. So the movement command is for left, but the execute.
Take a look at the description. You can send a ring. Oh my God, this is a made-up word. A string with several commands in it. So you can say L to turn and then M to move. That would represent the situation you want, right?
Yes,
he turned left
correct.
And then he moved.
Yeah, we can send a array of strings or a bunch of strings, and it will execute each one of them, iterate of each one of them. Yeah, so left M. So we can do it. It first turns left and then move to this side. And we don't want it to happen. Let me see how I will create an implementation that prevents that. And in case of invalid action or comment, let me see what the briefing says. I forgot. There is the situation that I'm thinking about. If a hover reaches the end of the plateau, it wraps around the end of the grid. Wraps around the end of the grid.
it should go to the other side. When just
Like in a
before
game.
we spend time here, because this is my thoughts on this. Before turning, maybe there's a simpler step we can do before. Because for instance, I say, what if I move twice forward? What if I move forward 2 times? I cannot solve this now. And I'm already jumping to calculating direction. So maybe we should start with the simpler code. We're talking about baby steps, right? Okay, so we start with the simplest next step to moving once would be to moving twice. We will break the previous test. It will not pass because we return the same result all the time. For the sake of baby steps, maybe there's something simpler than already turning and already hitting limits.
Something simpler. So make 2 movements.
Yeah. Move once and move twice. Instead of moving to 0, 1, we can move to 0, 2.
Okay. Let's do that.
This is a typical thing of testing afterward. Like you test the exceptions, you test the weird cases. But when we apply baby steps, we're just trying to go through the happy path until the end, until we reach all the cases that we have.
Okay, got it. So that was the real question. If I was willing to test the edge case right now or letting it to the end after all the happy path.
Especially because here you see how many things you have new on this new test. You have the limit. You have to somehow know that you're in the limit, which means calculating positions. We haven't done any calculation yet. You have turning. Turning depends from where you are. So left is not always left to the abyss. It can be left in the middle of the board. You can be looking east and then left is north. So you're adding something very complex here.
Yeah, it can be here. The left is not the abyss anymore. Also
And
here.
you can be facing north and then left is left. But if you're facing east, left is going to be north.
Yeah, there's so many edge cases here. I didn't thought about it. Yeah, so let's do the good practice and let the edge cases and unhappy scenarios for the end.
Unless you have very clear that you can implement this. If you have it very clear in your head, then awesome.
Yeah. Not yet. I don't have it yet in my mind. How else? So yeah, let's do the baby steps. I got in the wrong path, but I'm now in a good path again. Hover should make, let's say, subsequent movements according to comments. Example, 2 movements. And it needs to go to the second position facing north in the Y axis. Let me see. Okay, I will execute it and see the end result. It's not going to work, it's going to be yellow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we go back to the fake object. Here. I can start by following the guidelines and doing just a if. If comment equals. I think the design will emerge eventually and we are going to refactor it. It's going to be better, but right now just if and return. So if the comment is equal 2 movements, return. Yes.
Mhm.
If the if doesn't it's not executed, the other tests, which also still uses this other string here, are going to pass as well. So I think now it's going to be green. And I will execute this other one as well, just to make sure. Okay, green. And this is still green. Let me check. Yeah, it confirms. Okay, so now we have two movements and we have an assertion for that.
Mm.
The if is still here. Yeah, I can try to check, for example, another kind of movement, another test that change the X position, for example. What do you guys think?
Yep.
That will involve turning.
Yeah, it involves turning to movement. Yeah, I will try to just do the turning for now without
Okay.
the movement.
Sounds good. Okay. When we turn without moving, the position is still 0, 0, and only the direction changes. That's also a good thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Like a
only
separate thing.
yeah, I think we can cover this case. Yeah, I think I will cover all the happy scenarios, changing one step of each one of these coordinates here, and also as at least two steps. We can do a parameterized test later on to make it more maintainable. But at the beginning, I'm just going to use a hard-coded value here. But later on, we can use for example, CSV source with some
Okay.
data here with the possible directions. For example, can put all of them here and all of the possibilities and so on. But I'm going to do that later on when I have more clarity of what I'm accomplishing. Should make uh, yeah. So I will execute. It's going to be yellow because I didn't have implemented this scenario. So let's do baby steps again and just do the minimal implementation for it to work. Yeah. So I will try just 2 hours. Left and left. Yeah, it's going to face off. Yeah, the possible design decisions is showing up. Oops, let me see. Yeah, I forgot to change the name.
So what is your next step?
Yeah, we can see the starting of some happy paths here. We can just make some duplications. We can follow the rule of three to when three duplications happens, it's time to create an abstraction. Until now, the situation happened only once regarding the commands itself, movement, movement, right, right, right. But we are going already seeing that it's going to be a
long
what?
list.
A long list. So to change that and do a refactor right now,
Mm-hmm.
we can use yeah, I think of creating first an enum because it's going to be easy to put it on the switch statement, for example. Yeah, for now I'm going to create a enum, and later on I will try to use the switch command with the enum. Yeah, but I will need to handle this situation when it happens two times. But I will think about that later. First, I will create the enum.
Maybe the enum is something you can always do. Maybe work a bit more on the logic side. See if we can abstract any logic from this, because you're saying, okay, so we have it 3 times. Okay, how can we avoid having this 3 times?
Yeah, usually we can use a for loop, and we check the value here. Instead of the for loop, I will try first with the switch statement because I think it's simpler. And it usually a bunch of if we try to change it to a switch statement. At the end, I think I'll probably use the for loop itself, but for now I'm going to just make it a little bit better for the eyes. I'm going to do it like that. Case.
Do you really think a switch is better than an if it has 3 cases?
Yeah, it's going to be another way of repeating the clauses here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's try to think, okay, how does that MM turn into 0 to N? Because you made some process to say, okay, I was at 0, 0, N, and now I am 0 to N. So we have to apply this logic eventually.
Yeah, correct. We need to be executed.
And now we have a lot of tests that will make sure we don't break anything. So
yeah, the refactoring can be done without surprises. Let me think about these movements here because I want to remove these hard-coded values here. So I need to get the actual position and coordinates from the hover in comparison or in relation to the grid. So the hover should tell me where he is. I'm thinking like that. I just accept I have done that movement, and I have changed the direction to the right, and now I am at these coordinates. Maybe the hover itself can tell me.
Can I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
I think this will help. If the default case that we have here, the return, let's put it into another if.
Okay.
Above the because that was the first one that we did. So okay, and leave the default, let's say empty string, something that, let's check we don't break anything. I assume not. Oh my. What did we break? Oh,
Yeah.
This is another test.
This one. No, let me see.
No. No, it's the one with the -1.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
But-
either skip it for now, or we can use it to add more functionality, but I would skip it for now.
Yeah, because it's the unhappy scenarios or the edge cases. So I'm just going to disable it for now. Okay. Everything keeps going on, keeps working.
So now maybe for these two first cases, we can extract some logic.
I forgot to use the dot equals here. Yeah, later on I should, because it's comparing the by reference, not by value. Sorry, could you repeat what you said?
No, I was saying maybe now it's easier to extract some logic from what we have here. Okay, if we have one M, we move once in Y. If we have two M's, we move twice in Y. So maybe we can extract something and remove something. Also, we can see, okay, if we only have M's, if we don't turn ever, we apply one logic. So I don't know. Can you extract something from this?
Mm. Mm. I'm thinking about how I can handle that situation with a for loop.
I guess if you think about it from a kind of state point of view, and you think, where is this starting at? So it's going to be starting at 0, 0, 0 north. So if you've got something kind of holding that starting point already, and then your commands can kind of act on that, I think.
Yeah, good to hold the initial state. Okay, so when I receive an M, change 1 two M's, chain two, and so on. I receive that direction, and according to how, yeah, we need to count that. I will do a old school for each for now. Yeah, let's try it. Because I need to know how many position there is here. But I will also need to check each letter. I'll try to check each letter first. I may use the chars. It's a Java string possibility, because it gives back a string, and we can use map, for example, or count. Yeah, but the count also needs to consider the sequence, because if I got this and also just do a simple count without considering the order, the hover is going to go to a random place. For now, let's see.
We're going to take 2 more minutes here, and then we're going to go to the conversation part. Okay, just so you.
I'm feeling really dumb right now because I think it's simple, but I haven't done that before, so that's why my head is wrapping around it, around itself.
The main challenge here is to stick to baby steps. It's really hard. You said it yourself, but if you stick to baby steps, you can get a nice thing in the end. For instance, here, an easy thing you can say, okay, if I only have movement, if I don't turn, let me just count. So we can start by, if it's all M's, I'm just going to put on the Y the number of M's.
Yeah.
But it's a very simple thing. You will never find this in production code. And your head immediately says, I cannot go that way. But it's really baby steps, small steps till you get to the code really tells you. You said it yourself, the design is emerging. Yeah, you will see eventually, okay, this should not be here, or this should go there, or I can abstract this.
Exactly. It's starting to show up. After some initial thought, I can create a better solution. But for now, I'm still thinking about minor things that may happen and how I can handle edge case. But that's the point of this practice here that we are doing, right? Is to stick to the baby steps, as you said. It's really hard. Yeah, you guys.
It takes time.
Yeah,
it takes getting used to.
Yeah, I usually go ahead and create the unit test, for example, when I am on a team that we can do TDD. I start doing the assertions, and then I create the act and the arrange, and see if the act actually, the actual value is equal to the expected. I just saw that it's wrong here, the order. Yeah, so I just go ahead like that. But the baby steps part is really important. I can do that when I'm alone, I swear. But it takes a lot of time in the first take. When I try the second take, it's going a lot faster.
Don't worry about that. This is, like I said, it's something that takes time to getting used to.
Okay. Do you guys want me to keep going, or you prefer to start?
No, we'd rather you tell us about any project you've been something you've been proud of lately, something you think can help us know more about what you do.
Usually I start when I start in a new project. I tend to favor the FinOps things that we can do. For example, I have worked in a BTG Pactual. It's a bank here in Brazil. It's called BTG Pactual. And when I started in the company, I looked at the Datadog, and there was a specific part of the app which offered renegotiation offers and lending money, for example, because the money is the product of the bank, right? So they offered money for the people to go in debt, and they profit from that. And the conversion rate was declining every single month because of the slowness. The P50 of the Datadog was 15 seconds. So
Oh,
it was so slow, and the offer didn't show up to the customer.
okay.
The negotiation offer or in either the normal money lending offer. So the conversion rate was declining because of that. I saw some things that we can do. For example, we could do a BFF for them. We could do multi-threading and also caching.
Mhm.
And they weren't using anything of that, any kind of that thing, those things. So in the first 6 months, I just do the tasks for them from Jira as a normal developer, just taking tasks from left to the right. But after 6 months, I proposed to them a solution for that kind of problem that I saw on Datadog.
Mhm.
And in almost 3 months, I provided the solution in production for them. I created it alone, the BFF, with the caching, with Elastic Cache, and also the multi-threading with thread pool. Unfortunately, they didn't let me use Kotlin coroutines, but I just used a normal thread pool. And at the end, the P99 was less than 5 seconds. So the
Okay.
worst 1% of the calls were at least 5
Mhm.
seconds. So the conversion rate started growing up again, and the bank were happy, and I got a financial bonus from
Yeah,
that.
that's good.
It's really good. Yeah, it was really interesting to implement. I tend to favor things that creates profit or save money. So I have also created some solutions for them in the Datadog itself because they are throwing a bunch of log.info everywhere in every single layer of the application. So the logs itself were a huge cost for them. I have
Mhm.
uh, I have deleted a bunch of log infos, put them only on the specific parts of the app that needed. And the cost with Datadog went down because
Mhm.
Datadog asks for money for every log that we send to them.
Yeah.
They make an aggregation at the end of the month, but it's being a reason for them to charging more for the indexing of the logs. So at the end, I almost made a short, how can I say, I from 50,000 USD to about 35,000 USD. So it's a 15 um, profit, let's
Percent
say like
decrease, yeah.
that. Yeah, they are saving money, so it's a way of profiting because if we
Mhm.
save money, it's like we are profiting in the end of the day.
Mhm.
So there is some other case that I have created in production. I tend to focus on creating solutions to real problems that the company have. So when I start in a new team, I just do my job. But after I figure out how things work in the company, I start searching for something to improve, to fix, because most of the time people, other developers don't really care. They just do the Jira thing. They contest to the other side. But
Mhm.
I don't like doing that. I prefer to do something else that makes me proud even after I have left the company. So that's just one case in this bank, and there is also other case. If you want to, I can mention them.
I think so. I wanted to ask something about the other one. So, how did you did you perform any research, for instance, for the case you mentioned before about the delay in showing offers? How did you come up with multi-threading or caching? Had you used that before, or did you perform some research on other companies who had the same issues?
About the caching itself, I had to do a research because caching is not something we just apply and everything works
Mm-hmm.
faster. So have done some research about it. I have watched some presentations from experts about Redis, for example. And at the end of the day, I needed to convince them. What I just said before, it was a really, really short summary of everything that
Yeah.
happened. But I needed to convince them of my solution. So I did a POC to them
Okay.
to present them, also with the caching applied. But I have made sure to tell them we are only going to use the caching in specific parts of the flow of the application because we need, for example, to cache evict after a offer is accepted, the customer accepts our offer. At the exact same moment, we need to cache evict the offer itself because
Mhm.
if you don't do that, the offer will keep showing up, even though if it
Mhm.
was already contracted. So I propose to then a command query separation or segregation, the CQRS, and the comments itself. Probably it's going to possibly have a cache evict.
Mhm.
I needed to see it case by case and scenario by scenario. And the queries, probably it's going to be cacheable. So I added
Mhm.
an annotation at cacheable from Spring and created
Mhm.
the index and the keys and values. And by doing this kind of segregation from command to query and focus on putting cache on the query and almost nowhere on the comments, only in specific case like the offer I
Mhm.
said before,
Mhm.
when someone contracts it or accepts the offer, I could convince them to accept the caching solution. And at the end of the day, the caching was the real solution because the slowness was because of the repeated calls being made every single time. I'm not with my smartphone here, but every single time we push down
Yeah.
the app, it was making all the
Mhm.
requests again and again and again, and it was a terrible practice. To solve that situation as well, we saw the data of the use of the application in production by using App Tester, for example, or Firebase, and some Google data and also Apple data to see the average duration of the user session.
Okay.
So we found with the production data that the average user session was 5 minutes. So we picked these 5 minutes to use as a time to live for
Okay.
the reading operations of the cache. So the time to live
Mhm.
was 5 minutes because of that. And in by doing that, this movement of keeping trying to update the screen didn't had any impact because it
Mhm.
was getting from the elastic cache from AWS.
Mhm.
So it was really fast because of that. And the first attempt to open the screen, it wasn't on cache yet because it was the first attempt. But
Mhm.
I used the multi-threading to at least make the calls asynchronously. So
Mhm.
there was, let's say, 5 calls being made.
At the
Previously,
same time.
it was synchronous, but now it was asynchronously. So
Mhm.
we got the data as soon as it's available, and it already shows up in the screen. So even in the first call, it was faster, and in the subsequent calls, it was going from the cache, and it
Mhm.
was really faster. And yeah, I had to make some search about the caching itself to convince them to properly present to them the real benefits of using cache without the drawbacks of
Yeah.
showing an offer that was already accepted, for example.
Mhm. Very interesting.
Yes, it was a real case scenario. It's in production right now. I'm not in this company anymore, but even today they are using it. And it was, something that I had to work alone at the beginning, but I had created a very simple architecture for the BFF. I opted for package by feature. And by using package by feature with well-tested things, I have created integration tests with Springs and also unit tests with JUnit itself. The the test suite case was good documentation for them, but not only that, I have recorded a video showing up all the decisions that I have made, why I have created the package like that, separated by products, for example. And I have recorded it. It's available for them to use even nowadays. So aside from the test itself, there is a recording of the decisions made, and it's really easy to grasp the initial architecture because, for example, I have created a folder called renegotiation. And whenever someone needs to deal with the renegotiation thing on the app, they don't need to really ask anyone because it's in the folder called renegotiation. So and so on. For example, there was personal loan, and the personal loan is inside the personal loan folder. So
Makes sense.
there's no way of pretending that we don't understand this architecture because it's so complicated. No, every single folder has a proper name that comes from the product name. So even the product team could understand if they were developers, that they could understand that the folders represents the actual products that they sell to the customers.
Sounds very nice.
Yeah, hope everything goes well because I'm really interested in working for Consultoria because I have read the book from the owner and I found it very insightful. And let's see if you have any questions for me. I can provide you with answers about the code challenge itself. If I do it again, I'm going to be a lot faster than today.
That's good. That's good. But you have to think that whenever a client presents, when a client asks for a feature, it's always new. So being new, it's not a bad thing. It's just, how it is every day.
We just discovering as we implemented. So we are, and it's already covered with tests. It's a good thing.
Do you have any questions? I don't know if you have any questions, James.
No, not at this point. No.
Okay.
And so if you Robson, have any questions for us, anything you want to know about, I don't know, anything.
Yeah, I have a question that I usually ask. For example, if you guys accept me, how can I contribute most in a specific problem that you guys may have? For example, a situation happening with some customers that is happening in different customers and no one is wanting to handle it. It's the elephant in the room. There is that kind of situation that I may help.
It always depends, but I don't know. You can have the consulting answer. It's always it depends.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's. Yeah, go ahead, James. If you have an answer to this.
I think that's it with consultancy, isn't it? It's like I don't think we ever really have any kind of specific problems ourselves. It's kind of our problem always tends to be what problem does the customer have, and it's very varied in kind of what problems you're solving, what languages you're working with, what system you're working on. It tends to be very varied from month to month even. So it's it is something that we do get asked, but it's fairly tricky to kind of give a definitive answer on that, mainly because we don't know ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You need to hold the values, you have to keep in mind, the things that we think are super important, and then balance it with the client's needs and the client's ideas. And then it's constantly doing this. Okay, can I push TDD to this client when they don't use it? Does this make sense? Are they open to listen to us? And are they in a rush? Do they have a big problem that they need solved now? And it's, you have to, the definitive answer is have these values, have them very clear, and then be able to each day balance it out with delivery, urgencies, exceptions, all of those things.
Yeah, I understand. I'm used to that. I have worked for CINT, which is also a consultants company and also a software house. And we had to handle situations with the customers that were totally the contrary of what we believe as a culture inside our own company. Sometimes we had to forget that we are working for them, because they thought we are working totally for them, but not with them. We had to forget that we're working with them and think we are working for them. And the situation was getting worse and worse, because they don't know how to do things, and yet they
officially we don't want that here.
yeah, we never want that, and we try to not let that happen, because if we let that happen, we are going to become just a appendix from the other company.
Yeah.
We are going to lose our identity. It tends to happen. We need to try to make it not happen.
I don't know the consultancy you were mentioning, so maybe, but in the case of Consultoria, like this is not 100% of the time like this, but mostly our clients are aware of our ways of working, and they mostly, maybe if they don't work like that, they want our help changing. Of course, not everything is rainbows. Sometimes the boss wants the company to change, but the developers don't, but that is another situation. Most of the times we all row together in the same direction, but so that's why we say, okay, so the values, it's the answer to these core values, that the things that we sell to our clients is the most important part, but always balancing it out.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm used to do it. I think it's normal in consultancy companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for me. I don't have any more questions.
Okay, James, I don't know if we need to add anything.
Not for me.
No. We'll get in touch with Giuliani, and then she will let you know. I assume tomorrow already. I think she stopped working already, I would say.
Okay, good.
And yeah, if you have any questions, if you remember anything that you want to ask or something, you have my email in the invitation. Also James, but he will volunteer on his own. I will not volunteer.
Yeah, no, that's no problem. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming in, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay. Thank you, guys. See you later.
Thanks.
See you later.
Bye. Bye.